Coaches in League of Legends are an unseen force.
말했지만 부담되는 경기야 져선 안 되는 경기야. 100% 이겨야 되는 경기라 부담 갖고 이겨야 돼. 아까 얘기 못했는데 어차피 우리 목표 8강 이런 게 아니라 일단 다 우승 목표로 하고 있어서.
They're the glue that keeps the world's greatest teams together and the minds behind the game's biggest moments.
They will be the Season 3 World Champions!
SKT will be your first ever two-time World Champions!
They are the undisputed best team in the world! The SKT reign continues! They win their third World Championship!
But to the average viewer, their work is mostly invisible.
야 바텀아
예.
얘기되는 거나 뭐 있으면 도움되는 거 1회 이상 나와야 돼. 8강 보상하자.
예.
네.
이번 판 진짜 캐리할 만해요. 이거.
오케이. 캐리 안 해도 되니까 잘해라 얘들아. 5경기 100팩 준비하고 있을게.
네.
집중해서 하자. 집중해서. 파이팅 화이팅.
But behind every brilliant draft, every meta innovation, there's a group of resolute coaches and analysts that push the scene forward.
이번에는 미포랑 니달리랑 제이스 할 거거든? 대하나 좀만 더 집중해봐. 예. 지금 아예 나갔어 완전. 반대로 되게 좀 마지막이니까 이런 얘기 하는데 혼내는 게 아니라 반대로 뭐 픽이 좋아서 그렇게 된 걸 수도 있는데 제일 많이 호성이가 또 잘해주고 있는 거 보니까 많이 가슴 아프더라.
Innovators, strategists, leaders. They are the game's unsung heroes. And among the greats, there's one coach who stands apart.
He's teaching art, how to make the art in League of Legends, not teaching League of Legends. That's what I felt when I just joined SKT. It was completely different when I think the League of Legends, just playing the game. Like in Summer's Rift, there's Kkoma art, and then he's drawing with a player, and I just following his, order.
This is the story of one of the greatest coaches in League of Legends' history. This is the story of Kkoma. Kim Kkoma Jung-gyun's career didn't begin as a League of Legends coach. Originally, he was a StarCraft 2 player. Kkoma played under the handle Little Boy for Team Old Generations, but after failing to qualify for GSL Code A, he decided to jump ship to a new up-and-coming game that was taking Korea by storm. He jungled for Startale in the earliest days of Korean League, but his brief pro career petered out after Startale placed 9th to 16th in the Spring 2012 Champions Tournament. Kkoma left the team in April, but by late 2012 his career took a fateful turn, and the StarCraft 2 player turned jungler became a coach. He joined a growing SKT organization, one that in February would add their fledgling T12 roster, a new team built around solo queue superstars. T12 was packed with talent, from mechanical prodigies like Impact and Piglet to the stable and powerful Bengi and Pumandu. But of course, the team's heart was its mid laner, a 16-year-old phenom named Faker.
저도 처음 만났을 때는 원래 잘 눈도 못 마주쳤었어요. 그냥 왜냐면 정말 그때는 애기였었으니까 지금도 물론 이제 처음엔 좀 어두웠거든요. 점점 좀 지나면서 밝아지는 게 굉장히 좀 신기하기도 해요.
But what Faker then lacked in maturity, he more than made up for in raw, unstoppable talent.
His mechanics are just so good that he can keep up, even under turret.
Yeah, I mean, I was curious to see how well Captain Jack would do in this lane because he's been typically a relatively weak lane.
Whoa, Ambition! What? Faker just executes Ambition in that mid lane.
In spring 2013, T12 placed third after dropping to the eventual champions MVP Ozone in the semifinals. Even in that first tournament, T12 cemented themselves as SKT's strongest roster. But it wasn't until the summer split that Kkoma and his team hit their stride.
Backs off a bit, and look at Ryu. He knows it's over. Champion Summer is over. SK Telecom coming back after being 2 down. There goes the Nexus. GG!
An
incredible reverse all kill coming out of SK Telecom. There's Kkoma, the coach, in the booth.
Ahead of the Season 3 World Championships in Los Angeles, SKT had cemented themselves as Korea's greatest hope. They made Worlds 2013 their playground.
Up. Equalizer is going to slow down the entrance, but it's not going to have a huge amount. Impact is keeping on 3 members of TSM. The first victim will be Xpecial. He got the crescendo down, but it's not going to be enough to save them, as now Dyrus will be the second victim of the fight. That's a double kill for Piglet as he now flashes over the wall. Triple kill as he turns into Wild Turtle. This is going to be the Quadra. Does pick up the Quadra kill. No kill secured yet. Kane looking for the hook. Not going to connect. Faker still alive. Now Nugne's in trouble.
He's got the shockwave still alive, and there is the shockwave coming down, but Faker so very low. Expansion dies. Faker still alive. Protect comes in. Kane trying to get the kill. Kane does get the kill. Bakey will bring it back now.
They've entered into the fight. Royal's health bars are just getting demolished. Uzi on the outside trying to do what he can, but it's not going to be enough. Uzi's chased into the base, and SKT wipes him for the ace. The Quadra for Piglet.
And it quickly became evident that no one could match SKT's raw power.
This does not look good for Royal.
This doesn't engage. Crescendo catches all of them. It's a double for Impact. They get on the fountain. SK Telecom are just rolling through. The Nexus turrets are potentially going to go down. This could be a 20-minute game for SK Telecom. They will be the Season 3 World Champions here at the Staples Center.
SKT returned home to Korea, triumphant and unstoppable. In Champions Winter, SKT played the only perfect season in Korean League history, taking their second domestic title without dropping a single game. SKT were untouchable. Though Kkoma was the coach of the most successful League of Legends team in the world, he'd managed to fly somewhat under the radar. In the earlier days of competitive League, coaching was an underappreciated and poorly understood skill. In fact, back in 2012, there were hardly any coaches to speak of, especially in the West.
In the early stages of, say, Season 2, there basically weren't any coaches available. Everything was very player-driven. There was nobody to really resolve conflict because everybody was involved in every single conflict. There was no neutral party to kind of oversee the team, and that led to a very chaotic scene with a lot of breakups and a few good teams.
Kkoma was part of the first wave of coaches in the competitive scene, but unlike the West, Korea had something of a blueprint in place when it came to coaching an esports team. Many of Kkoma's peers were pro players who had very little coaching experience, and in the West, the idea that players should respect their coaches had yet to fully take root. But Kkoma implemented a strict system, working closely with his players and along with his head coach, was responsible for laying some of the groundwork that Korean League coaching infrastructure would grow on. In 2014, a new power was rising in Korea. Samsung Ozone, who were later known as Samsung White, and their sister team, Blue, were a dominant force through Champions Spring and Summer. In the spring, SKT were toppled by Samsung Ozone in the quarterfinals.
And that is it, an ace, and can they close it out after a season with 0 losses for SK Telecom K, including a 3-0 of Samsung Ozone in the finals. Ozone will come back in the round of 8 in Champions Spring and claim a 3-1 victory. GG!
And the same thing happened in the summer.
The damage is just way too high, and yeah, SKTK doing everything they can at this point, but it doesn't even make a difference. A little bit of damage onto him. Pawns him in Impact. Chase into turret. Backs off, but there goes the Nexus. GG. And Samsung White onto the semifinals yet again, taking down SK Telecom K.
And the greatest heartbreak of all came at the regional finals.
But I think it's going to be an Impact is all that stands between Najin Shield and a trip to the 2014 League of Legends World Championships. Can he defend? There's 30 seconds. It's not going to work. There's the first Nexus turret. There's the second. And there goes the Nexus. Najin Shield is going to Worlds.
The defending world champions had gone home to a perfect season, only to miss the next world championship altogether. For Kkoma, it was devastating. If you've followed League of Legends, then you've probably heard analysts and broadcasters talk about the incredible work ethic of most Korean pros. Well, that work ethic extends beyond the pros to their coaching staff as well. Throughout his career, Kkoma has cultivated a borderline extreme work ethic.
좀 주위에서 그런 말 많이 해요. 그러니까 너무 좀 섬세하고 뭐 그런 부분이 커서 그래서 좀 내려놓을 수도 있고 뭐 한데 그 부분이 참 말 그대로 저희가 프로게임단이기 때문에 그냥 매년
And so, as much as the players were devastated by the loss, Kkoma felt it too. Changes needed to be made, and heading into 2015, the Korean scene as a whole did just that. Kkoma brought a new SKT roster into a new Korea in 2015. Piglet, Impact, and Pumandu were out, and a new unified SKT with Bang and Wolf alongside Marin in the top lane looked to improve on 2014. And it was during that first split that Kkoma made one of the more controversial decisions of his coaching career.
Wait, what's this? What's this I spy in the SKT booth? It's not Faker, it's EasyHoon. Faker, here's how we operate. We pick our star player into an unfavorable matchup and then we kick him out when he doesn't do well.
EasyHoon saw more playing time than Faker throughout the season, and when it came time to face their biggest domestic rivals, EasyHoon played all 3 games of SKT's final set against the GE Tigers.
해서 좀 가슴이 아팠고 어느 선수가 그런 무대에서 안 뛰는데 웃고 있을 수 있겠어요.
Wow, we may see a finals without Faker.
Well, there are two schools of thought here. You either give the fans what you want, Doa, or you save Faker for MSI.
Faker spent much of the year grinding his way back, and by the time Worlds rolled around, he was usually in the starting seat. But despite their success in 2015, whether or not benching Faker was the right choice, telling the greatest player of all time to sit was a tough choice.
솔직히 우승한 것도 기분이 좋긴 하지만 저는 좀 아쉬움이 많이 남거든요. 이제 다음부터 좀 경기 나와가지고 지훈 형보다 더 하드 캐리하는 모습을 보여줘야 될 것 같아요.
네, 또 뭐 팀 같은 경우에 진짜 뭐 근데 또 상혁이 혼자 있는 팀이 아니기 때문에 코칭 스텝은 이제 팀 단위로 봐야 되기 때문에 어쩔 수 없었는데.
SKT hit a snag at the inaugural mid-season invitational, but they returned home to another domestic title in Korea, and heading into Worlds, SKT looked like Korea's best hope for a 3rd consecutive championship. And for Kkoma, this was an important tournament. He wasn't the leader of a brash young team that could win on mechanical skill alone. He'd felt both the euphoria of a Worlds win and the bitter sting of missing the tournament entirely. And that loss had made him stronger.
경험을 다 해봤기 때문에 오히려 지금이 훨씬 더 성숙해진 코치가 된 것 같습니다. 왜냐면은 정상에도 서봤고 작년에 롤드컵도 떨어져 봤고 이번에 다시 왔기 때문에 경험이라는 게 엄청 많이 쌓인 것 같아요.
No team had ever won 2 world championships, but this year was the year to change that. SKT hardly broke a sweat on their way to the finals. They went undefeated in a group with the same EDG that bested them at MSI months earlier. They then swept AHQ and Origin. The last team standing in their way was the same one they'd overcome at the beginning of the year. And though the KU Tigers put up a valiant fight,
there is a moment of the spectacle. Here we go. What a hit onto Faker. Eyes focused onto him. He's forced to flash over the wall, but it doesn't save him. Kuro gets the shot necessary. A double kill for the Kassadin, and this spells very bad things for SKT. The bottom inhibitor is already broken, feeding super minions into the base. This is going to be Marin going down as well as he's too far from home. Over the wall. Bang's going to go down now. The fly in. The lunge from Smeb. A few more hits, and he goes down.
it wasn't enough. Not even close.
SKT comes. On the hunt, goes in. That's going to be Hojin in a real sticky situation. He goes down a full 3-man Gnar ultimate. That's going to be smacked down now. Eyes onto the AD carry, but the support hits. It's going to be Kuro out safely. Prey, however, has to run away from his base. SK Telecom looking to take down the final Nexus turrets. It does not look good for Kuro and his team. KU Tigers are falling. SKT will be your first ever two-time world champions!
And they're spearheading the trend where teams are starting to get really inclusive with their substitutions.
It's another thing that puts SKT even further ahead of the competition, that they're already fielding a 6-man roster with rotating that roster and actually getting a lot of value out of EasyHoon.
Yeah, and I think that's where you end up looking to other teams now and what they end up taking away from this experience at Worlds, from both their own experiences, but as well as from witnessing the achievements of SKT. Clearly, this organization is doing something right.
2016 got off to a predictable start. SKT triumphed in the spring split and rolled through MSI. But they faltered in the summer split playoffs.
Doesn't get punished yet, actually is able to make it out. Now the Guardian Angel's gonna get popped. Snap back from Duke as he's trying to stick it to the back line.
They're on the Nexus! They're on the Nexus, and KT Rolster! They're gonna do it! They take down SK Telecom in the reverse sweep, bringing it back 3 games in a row, and they are going to the finals on the 20th to face against the Rocks Tigers.
Heading into Worlds, some analysts thought of the Tigers as the favorites to win it all. But for SKT's rabid fanbase and the organization itself, anything short of a third world championship would be considered a failure. Players have sometimes talked about the tremendous pressure that comes with playing for SKT. And for Kkoma, the pressure was no different. He knew he had a team that could win it all. Knew that his fans, his team, expected victory.
이번 연도 작년에 롤드컵 우승하고 초 때부터 즐겨본 적은 없는 것 같습니다.
SKT will be your first ever two-time world champions.
정상의 자리라는 게 이번 연도에 정말 좀 그 자리가 무겁다는 걸 많이 느껴서 그때 7등하고 그 뒤로 스프링을 우승했어요. 스프링, IM, MSI 모든 리그를 우승하고 딱 썸머 하나만 또 결승을 못 갔는데 그때 또 한번 다시 이 정상의 자리 SKT 이 무게를 좀 느껴가지고
Kkoma had built up a legacy as the world's most decorated coach. He was revered by his peers and respected by his players.
He's a better coach than me. That's words from Ryu, so that's a good motivation for me because he's a pretty honest person and he's nice. So that's like the nicest way he could put it.
It's a really hard mark to look at and look at SKT and be like, they're wrong. It's hard to look at Kkoma and be like, Kkoma, you're doing it wrong right now.
But none of that would matter if SKT failed at Worlds. After they made it out of groups, SKT's first obstacle were Royal Never Give Up. The Chinese squad looked outmatched, but all eyes were on their semi-final opponents, the Rocks Tigers, a matchup that many fans had hoped to see in the finals. And from the very first game, it was clear this series would be something special.
Oh, Phoenix comes in! He's in a pretty dangerous spot, stuns up in a bang, but now getting chased down by Vangie. This could be enough damage to trade one back, and they will find the Rocks Tigers jungler. Now it's Duke running for a shockwave, not quite gonna land. They're missing plenty of CC, but it's still 2 kills picked up, and Duke is just too tanky. Svev is now alone under the turret, will be running out of health, and it's Kuro to try to save the fight. Looks for Faker, does turn around 1, and Svev will not be killed off. It's a 2 for 3. Rocks finding a couple of kills to get again. Kuro nearly finds a third as well.
In Game 2, the always creative Tigers came ready with a counter to Zyra, widely considered the strongest support on the patch, Support Misfortune.
But when we're talking about...
that's an insta-locked Misfortune.
Something really weird. I don't care about my last point.
This is an insta-locked Misfortune.
Support MF.
It worked.
Which means they can play safe and play aggressive.
Ash arrow.
Arrows land on the Wolf, and it's just going to be too much damage too fast. Teleports be damned. Who cares? A 2-on-2 kill for the Rocks bottom lane.
How do you beat Zyra poke? You outrange it.
얘들아 리프 안 힘들어? 아니 굳이 힘든 건 없었던 것 같은데 리프 상관없는 거야? 네.
And then it worked again.
Also worth noting is sort of par for the course. Yes. Wolf getting caught at level 4. Here's the jump in. A few more attacks will do it. And that's first blood. With the flash kick on the bang. That was beautiful.
Into a potential dragon. However, it's a cloud bait.
Got him again. There's the stun. There's the volley slow. And all the damage they could possibly need. Gorilla gets the kill. Nothing Wolf could have done outside of getting out of the lane entirely.
SKT have to change things up in this next one because they tried round 2 of the Misfortune lane. They lost again.
이번에는 미포랑 니달리랑 제이스 할 거거든? 대하나 좀만 더 집중해봐. 지금 아예 나갔어 완전. 반대로 되게 좀 마지막이니까 이런 얘기 하는데 혼내는 게 아니라 반대로 뭐 픽이 좋아서 그렇게 된 걸 수도 있는데 제일 많이 호성이가 또 잘해주고 있는 거 보니까 많이 가슴 아프더라고.
In Game 4, Kkoma chose to bring in Bengi, who'd been sitting on the bench since he helped the team to a Game 1 victory. Part of the reason for that was that Blank had been the starter for much of the year. But it was also that Bengi had never played a professional game on Nidalee, one of the patch's most important junglers and one of Rock's Peanuts' signature picks. But unbeknownst to almost everyone, Bengi was ready to play her.
니달리 먹을까요?
니달리 먹어도 돼요. 성우아, 니달리 연습했는데 한번 먹자. 부담스러우면 넘겨도 돼.
먹을게요.
먹자.
먹는 게 나을 것 같아.
방어.
Nidalee was unbanned, so Bengi has to play the Nidalee, and it gives Ash Zyra straight over to Rock's Tigers.
나 잠깐 나 전판 이거 하나 못 봤어. 애쉬 못 봤어. 애쉬 먹었어야 되는데. 성우아, 이거 형이 애쉬를 하나 못 봤어. 진짜 미안하다. 네. 처음이다. 이렇게 정신 못 차렸다.
잘해봅시다.
성우가 보여줘. 니달리 무서움 한번 보여줘.
They know they can get spotted here.
They're going for Kuro. Double bomb on a Kuro. Javel's gonna land this time, and he's gonna get the damage. Yes, he is. First blood in for Faker. He's out. Over the wall goes Bengi, and so far, so good for the first pick, Nidalee. Getting away from it all, and the bombs aren't gonna land either. But the turret's so low, and Bengi wants to dive. He's got one, and SKT are breaking this one apart now. And now it could be dangerous. Wolf's gonna die in a couple more shots. Oh, it's gonna be enough there. That Bengi shuts him out anyway.
He gets spotted by Bengi. Good spot by Bengi
again anyway. A quick root on Gorilla. That's goodbye. Look for the harass, got hit in return, and now the double bomb forcing the flash of Kuro. The stun and a Faker not gonna matter because he already had the ulti off the side. And Bengi again, and this could be the game-winning play right now. Kuro's got nothing left to do. Sure, he can pop the Guardian Angel, but what does it even matter? It's a 4-for-0. It's the ace. It's the game.
And Bengi subs back and he saves SKT. Now we're going to Game 5.
And in Game 5, SKT were able to bring it home, to qualify for the World's Finals. Though everyone had expected Samsung to roll over, they put up a tough competition and took it all the way to 5 games. But in the end, Samsung crumbled under the pressure, and SKT were champions once again.
Crown's able to flash so he doesn't get caught, but Cube's down!
And it's a war of attrition. They're just waiting for wrecking them in a fight.
Duke flashes forward, chomps down to kill Crown. SK Telecom have got 2, make that 3 kills. The curtain call is a fitting end to the World Championship as Samsung Galaxy are being dove under their tower. SK Telecom have overcome every challenge. They are the undisputed best team in the world. The SKT reign continues. They win their 3rd World Championship!
No other organization has ever won back-to-back World Championships until Kkoma's SKT squad. The dynasty he created had broke ground in almost every way, and Kkoma's strict, effective coaching was just one aspect of that. Kkoma took some of the most talented players that the game has ever seen and elevated them. He turned stars into superstars, winners into legends. 2017 began with another domestic victory and another MSI championship. And amid the success, Kkoma had settled into his role as a fatherly figure on a new team with young, brash players like Huni and Peanut. Sometimes he had to temper their play.
지금 그냥 다른 라인이랑 상관없이 너 너무 지금 많이 심각한 거 같아. 네. 아무튼 승근아 좀 긴장할 필요 없는 거랑 집중하는 거랑 그 차이 너무 큰 거 같아. 아무튼 네가 그건 뭐 극복해야 되는 거니까. 만약에 타라인에서 무너지잖아. 그냥 뭐 하려고 하지 말고 그냥 천천히 하고 그냥 어차피 성장형 캐릭이나 좋은 캐릭터 무조건 지금 주고 있잖아. 그냥 천천히 뭐 하려고 하지 마 제발. 애매하다 싶으면 안 써도 돼. 그냥 하지 마. 너 뭐 오늘 보여줄 거 없어. 만약에 보여주면 결승에서 보여줘. 너가 만약에 못하면 얘까지 무너져서 너무 그거 좀만 생각해. 어차피 좋은 싸움이나 이거는 위에서 돼서 그냥 뭐 그냥 라인전에만 신경 써서 너무 두 개 생각하지 마.
Sometimes he had to deal with questionable life decisions, like the time Peanut decided to turn on his stream after a late night of drinking.
안녕하세요. 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 조금 먹었어요, 조금. 왜 이렇게 늦게 오셨어요? 이거 완전 왜요? 아니 뭐 잘못했어요? 뭐 잘못한 거 없지? 네네 잘못한 거 없죠. 코치님 근데 잘못한 거 오늘은 없는데 예전엔 많이 있잖아요. 그럼 일단 방송 꺼봐. 방송 끄고 들어볼까? 들어가세요. 빠이. 안녕히 계세요. 너무 뛰어왔습니다. 다음에 봬요. 너무 뛰어왔잖아. 화장실 넘어가고 싶어. 빨리 간다.
좀 하다 끄세요. 저 화장실 갔다 온 거죠.
As he always did, Kkoma made new pieces fit into SKT's winning mold. But eventually, everything comes to an end. By the time SKT made it to yet another World Championship, the cracks were beginning to show. They were pushed to the brink by Europe's misfits in the quarterfinals.
If I had to state one reason that why we lost Game 2 and 3 is, I think the fault was on me. I think I should have been able to see it through of how the game should have went, and I should have made some better decisions. And I think I should have been a better coach.
And they took more body blows against a surging RNG.
But Uzi's trying to stay alive. The barrier in. He's still surviving, and now he's turning it around, looking for Blake, looking for the chase down now on the bang. Pop Yogi's stun gonna land. One or two of them in, but Faker gonna join. Flashes forward. They won't quite catch up Blake, but now it's the Galio's turn to get the damage across. Shields coming in, and they can't find the kill. And Uzi to get his second 5-2 RNG.
Uzi is coming for that final spot, and they are making a hard push here.
No one left to stop them. RNG are a single game away from making history.
거기서만 사고 안 났으면 이겼지. 네. 그래서 너무 아쉬워. 주도권 못 잡는다. 다 그냥 후회 없이만 해. 맞게임. 이미 뭐 유리한 게임 뭐 역전당해서 이제는 우리 준비해온 거 다 보여주고 이제 뭐 반반 이런 식으로 나가야 돼서 좀 실수 덜 나오는 게 좋을 것 같아.
Kkoma and SKT would eventually claw their way back, taking the series in a grueling 5th game. But by the time they reached the finals, it looked like there was no gas left in the tank, and Samsung Galaxy outclassed them.
And Samsung Galaxy pushed mid first. As you can see, the flash hold left. They've caught Faker. They've got the CC. The mid laner is down. The unkillable Demon King has done just that.
At the moment of truth, they flash on Faker, and they take out the heart of SK Telecom.
Or that might be the Flash R that signals the end of the SKT dynasty. The upset is complete as the kills come through. The SKT dynasty is over. All hail the new kings. Samsung Galaxy, your 2017 World Champions!
It was a brutal loss for the game's most decorated team, but for many fans and analysts, it seemed inevitable that they would bounce back. SKT might have fallen down, but they always managed to climb back to the top.
Well, I think what is happening right here is that SKT is pissed. SKT is going to be freaking pissed, and I think coming into the next season, they're going to come in with a roster that's going to be scarier than before. And when that day comes, you know, people will be like, holy moly, look at that SKT roster. You know, I think they've always been a force to be reckoned with. And this is going to just, you know, people have awoken the dragon.
But it didn't happen that way. 2018 was the darkest year in SKT's storied history. They placed 4th in the spring playoffs. And after his team was eliminated from the spring split, Kkoma found himself on the longest, albeit unexpected, break of his career.
이렇게 긴 휴식기는 일하면서 거의 처음이었었고요. 휴가 이제 처음 받았던 날에 한 2-3일까지는 좀 너무 힘들었었어요. 그래서 좀 처음에는 뭘 한다 해도 스트레스가 풀리지 않더라고요. 그냥 일하다 보니까 좀 시간이 다 해결해 주는 것 같아요. 근데 그 기간만큼은 정말 좀 말로 표현할 수 없을 정도로 많이 힘들어요.
Then they fell all the way to 7th in the summer split. By the time the regional finals rolled around, SKT missed out on Worlds entirely for only the 2nd time in the organization's history. As the coach, Kkoma has always shouldered the blame for his team's failings. And throughout a year of disappointing results, he seemed to grow more withdrawn as the year went on. This year, more than any before, he felt the pressure of being on SK Telecom.
조금 내려놔도 될 것 같아요, 저는. 너무 이 무게감에 자기가 말 한마디 이거 잘못했을 때 오는 파장이 크다 보니까 더 조심스럽게 하는 것 같은데 조금 그 짐을 내려놓고 조금 본인의 평소 때 모습이 좀 나왔으면 좋겠어요. 방송이건 감독으로서건. 그래서 본인도 조금 편안하게 지냈으면.
For years, there's been a running joke in the Korean scene about Kkoma's marital status. Friends, players, and fans have told the longtime coach he should settle down and get married, especially since he's approaching his mid-30s.
저 정장 나온 거 있거든.
넌 정장 왜 맞췄어?
저 결혼식장이랑 그냥 하나 맞추려.
클럽 가려고?
짱이다.
결승장 가야지 클럽을 가.
나가라? 그 정장 입고 클럽. 야, 이 자식아, 정장 입고 클럽 가냐.
코치 결혼 vs 훈이 10kg 감량 뭐가 더 쉬울까요?
우리 코치님 언제 웨딩 마치 하시려나? 와이프 자리가 블랭크인데 말이지. 블랭크? 기가 막힌 여자분 한 번 있는데 소개시켜드릴까?
And though it's mostly in good fun, a 2018 OGN interview with longtime friend and caster Dang-kun did shine some light on the toll that year took on him.
난 내가 그거 다 하는데 할 거 다 해.
뭘 다? 아, 너는 저 혼자 하니까 그렇지.
그러니까 부럽다. 부럽다. 형 보면 정말 행복해 보여.
너에 비하면 행복하지.
In the off-season, Kkoma switched roles within SKT, moving to head coach. Though he would no longer be the coach appearing on stage with his team, the promotion gave him the chance to build the team he wanted for 2019. According to reports from Inven Global, they went after Teddy early on, securing the much-lauded Jin Air ADC. When the dust had settled on the off-season, SKT's roster boasted Khan, Klid, and Mata, in addition to Faker's always shining star. It was a powerhouse roster, one that Faker called a team of aces. And though many younger teams put up impressive results in spring 2019, SKT reclaimed their throne. They toppled Griffin in a one-sided finals and earned another shot at the international stage.
See your death and see your defeat in the LCK final for spring 2019. Spring often does this to us, gentlemen. We often get the quick ones in the early stages of the year, but this is one that I don't think anyone expected. SKT 3-0 over Griffin after their incredible first round robin.
Give them their moment to bask in the afterglow. SKT have destroyed Team Griffin to register their spot at the mid-season invitational and also.
Sadly, MSI was not SKT's tournament to win. Despite a strong showing in groups, SKT fell in the bracket stage against Europe's G2. For a team that many Korean hopefuls believed could win it all, MSI was a failure. Still, for Kkoma, the success in his first domestic split as head coach meant the world. And for the fans that had stuck by SKT through a shaky 2018, it meant everything.
이제 너
There's no other coach in League of Legends who can inspire a crowd to chant their name like that. There's no other coach who could tame, who could help to perfect the greatest player of all time, who could mold the greatest team ever.
He's teaching arts, how to make the art in League of Legends, not teaching League of Legends. That's what I felt when I just joined SKT. It was completely different when I think the League of Legends, just playing the game. Like in Summer's Rift, there's Kkoma art, and then he's drawing with a player, and I just following his, order.
No coach is as decorated. No coach is as dedicated. No coach is Kkoma.
Thanks for watching. If you want more content like this, hit the sub button and ring that notification bell. For unique bite-sized videos you won't find anywhere else, hit up our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook pages.